San Diego County is on the move to the orange tier, and Governor Newsom eyes a date to fully reopen California. Details of those reopening rules.
They've protested to reopen schools and businesses since last year. The new goal, a local group rallied for today.
Age and a string of injuries lead a local couple to a unique sport, the Positively San Diego way. They're teaching their retirement community to play and stay active.
ABC 10 News at 6 starts now.
We can start to open up as business as usual, subject to ongoing mask wearing and ongoing vigilance.
We are potentially 2 months away from life returning to normal in California. Governor Newsom wants to lift all restrictions on businesses by June 15th. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. San Diego County also moves to the less restrictive orange tier starting tomorrow. We'll explain how that will help our local economy rebound here in just a moment. But first, our ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco breaks down the reopening rules.
More than a year after shutting down California's economy, Governor Gavin Newsom announced a major milestone in the fight against COVID-19.
We're seeing death rates, mortality rates go down. We're seeing case rates stabilize.
Governor Gavin Newsom says the state has given out more than 20 million vaccine doses, including 4 million to the hardest hit communities.
If we keep the pace, we are moving now beyond the blueprint.
The governor says as long as vaccine supply remains sufficient and hospital rates remain low, the state will return to business as usual by summer.
June 15th, we will be moving beyond the blueprint and we'll be getting rid of the colored tiers. We'll be moving past the dimmer switch.
Here in San Diego, another major announcement.
We're excited about where we're headed, the direction, the trajectory, moving to orange, looking ahead to what's coming at June.
Under the orange tier, restaurants, museums, aquariums, places of worship can operate indoors at 50% capacity. Gyms increase to 25%. Amusement parks can open with 25% capacity, in-state visitors only. Concerts and sporting events go up to 33%, also for in-state visitors. Bars can now open outside. There are no capacity limits on retail. The county also announced an end to the 10 p.m. restaurant curfew that's been in effect since July. Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
Right now, the governor says there are no plans to lift the state's mask mandate.
San Diego County is moving into the orange tier despite seeing an increase in our case rate. That's because the state continues to hit its goals in vaccinating some of the hardest hit communities. And meantime, there are just over 200 new cases reported today, and the county says 2 more people have died of the virus. And we've said more San Diego County businesses will be able to reopen or expand their indoor capacity tomorrow. But as California is on a path to fully reopen by June 15th, San Diego's economy will be getting a big boost this summer as businesses start to rebound. ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala explains how many jobs will be coming back as more tourists and community events return.
Residents and visitors can look forward to a full San Diego experience this summer. With California's tier system likely being dropped by June 15th, businesses can return to pre-pandemic operations.
We can start planning for our future.
As long as we meet the criteria, this summer restaurants will be fully open, hotels welcoming more guests, live shows and family entertainment centers back up and running. For the events industry, the announcement means finally getting back to work, a boost for San Diego's economy.
It was devastating to us. I lost 80% of my business. I lost, 80% of my employees. We do San Diego Pride. We also do La Mesa Oktoberfest, the Chula Vista Starlight Parade.
Laurel McFarland is the owner of McFarland Promotions and the president of the San Diego Event Coalition. She says guidance for outdoor community events was left out of the state's reopening plan throughout this pandemic. So with the June 15th target date comes new hope.
For us, it's 200,000 people having a pathway back, and It's our future.
According to Newsom's office, large-scale indoor events like conventions will be capped at 5,000 people until October 1st, unless testing or vaccination status is verified for all attendees. The restaurant industry has also been hit hard with the constant changes for the last year. Patricia Branchi, owner of Opera Cafe in the Gaslamp Quarter, says this summer she'll be rehiring back her employees that were laid off, getting ready for tourists to return.
I have just a few employees right now. 3, 4. I expect to call back everyone.
We just pray everyone does the right thing so we can actually get back to work and help our families and, and also bring fun back to San Diego, right?
Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
And Laurel says it takes about 6 months to plan large events, so some of the canceled events will not be ready immediately. And coming up at 7 o'clock, we'll hear from the San Diego Chamber of Commerce and the Hillcrest Business Association.
A local group protested outside the county administration building today, saying they want to be let back into the Board of Supervisors meetings. And when the pandemic began, the board started carrying its meetings virtually, with people tuning in over Zoom. Reopen San Diego says county board meetings are open for in-person attendance in Orange, San Bernardino, and Riverside counties. They want the same here.
There is no reason why we can't safely go in to a county board of supervisors meeting like they are doing in person in Riverside, San Bernardino, and Orange County. It's time to reopen our government too.
County leaders have not said when the in-person attendance will again be allowed at those board meetings.
Right now, the San Diego Unified School District Board is ratifying its COVID safety agreement with the teachers union. The agreement includes giving all staff full access to the COVID vaccine, giving everyone access to masks and PPE, putting up clear social distancing signage on campus, and putting an air quality monitor and proper ventilation in every classroom. Students are set to return to campus next Monday. You can track the county's reopening and find details about the orange tier with the ABC 10 News app. It is free in the App Store.
A stretch of road in Escondido remains closed at this hour as the CHP investigates a crash that injured one of their own. The crash happened just before 1 o'clock today. The CHP officer was on his motorcycle going east on Villa Rancho Parkway when a Nissan Rogue turned from a cross street and right into the path of the officer. This happened at the intersection of Lomas Serena Drive. The officer was thrown from his motorcycle and taken to Palomar Medical Center with major injuries. The driver of the Rogue was not hurt. CHP says no arrests were made. The crash, though, remains under investigation.
The result is going to be living in a neighborhood where we have to live in fear.
Outrage after neighbors in the Mount Helix area learned that not one but 2 sexually violent predators could be placed in a home in their neighborhood. As neighbors meet tonight, our ABC 10 News reporter Michael Chen explains why their message may already be working.
Throughout the morning, residents in one Mount Helix neighborhood waved signs, their fears mounting.
Shock. I think I was completely shaking.
After word a second sexually violent predator may be placed in this home on Horizon Hills Drive. Sarah Thompson, who has an 8-year-old son, says the neighborhood is filled with children. Last week, the Department of State Hospitals recommended Douglas Badger be placed in the home a few doors down from Thompson. Classified as a sexually violent predator, Badger was convicted of sexual assaults dating back to the 70s for preying on young male hitchhikers and abducting them at gunpoint.
I just feel sick to my stomach when I hear that.
Amy Fago, mother of 3, says her worries have doubled.
To hear that 2 are going in is just mind-boggling.
After learning a second SVP, Merle Wakefield, is slated to be placed in the same home. In 1981, Wakefield was convicted of a lewd act with a child under age 14 and a decade later, forcible rape. After his prison term, he was sent to a state hospital for treatment. He was deemed suitable for release, and a judge recently granted his conditional release.
I fear our neighborhood is going to become a dumping ground for sexually violent predators.
The result is going to be living in a neighborhood where we have to live in fear. I don't want to have my children or myself be afraid of walking around.
In the past week, neighbors have quickly come together in opposition. The Sexual Assault Felony Enforcement Task Force says they've received 200 emails, described as a huge amount.
I know for sure that we're going to fight this till the end.
My message is these men do not belong in this community.
Michael Chen, ABC 10 News.
Badger's placement hearing will take place April 20th. The deadline for public comment is this Friday. Wakefield's hearing is in May. Their conditional release will include supervision, including GPS monitoring.
A Minneapolis police lieutenant who once trained Eric Chauvin on how to properly use force against suspects testified at trial today. He said Chauvin putting his knee on Floyd's neck was not an authorized use of force, but the instructor added that Chauvin's technique could be part of other police training.
There is no strict application of every single rule, agreed? Or every single technique?
That is correct.
Have you had people say, "I can't breathe"?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been trained or trained others to say that if a person can talk, they can breathe?
It's been said, yes.
Other officers testified they do not teach that if someone can talk, they can breathe, but this is the 7th day of testimony out of an estimated 4 weeks.
Polls close in less than 2 hours in the 79th Assembly District special election. 5 candidates are now vying for the seat vacated by Dr. Shirley Weber when she became California's Secretary of State. The Registrar of Voters Office says the first sets of results should come in shortly after 8 o'clock tonight. Early voting got underway in early March when the registrar mailed out more than 300,000 ballots. Many of them, we're told, have already been cast before today. Again, the registrar's office and assigned polling places are open for voting until 8 o'clock tonight.